Hi, I'm Ron Nutter, and this is another edition of Tech Bits with Ron Nutter, and this time I'm going to show you what's been going on with my Rat Trap device in a little over 2 weeks that I've had it. And that starts now. I wasn't sure what to expect with the Rat Trap device, and I'm still learning it. There's a lot to learn about this little gem. And let me go to a video I did, because I've actually got, obviously, the video gear that I'm doing the YouTube videos with on a separate connection other than one that Rat Trap is on. And let's shift over, and I'm going to show you. Well, we're going to try something else this time, and I'm going to actually switch over to the live screen, and we'll just walk through a few things, because I was trying to show you what would happen, and we'll just have to do this a little bit different way. Demos work great when you think you've got it planned. This is what the screen will look like when you've got ad blocking turned on. And I've got just a single computer running elsewhere in my house that's got two sites on it, usatoday.com and msn.com. And those are on automatic refresh, because those sites periodically update their content, especially their ad content. And this is showing you what's being blocked. You really won't get the details as to what it's blocking, but it is. And this is when I first brought up the USA Today and MSN, and then you can see where now it's just kind of doing a refresh. So and you're not seeing that. Okay, well, let's try this. Now we'll go to the screen. Now this is when I first turned on ad blocking. I've actually had it running for a while, but I didn't have anything on there that would really generate much traffic. This is the kind of report that you'll see when you've got ad blocking turned on. So it doesn't really give you the details, but it shouldn't take a whole lot of investigating to really find out what's going on. And this is something that you turn it on, and you saw it in the video that had no audio, and why it didn't, I don't know. What you see here is just did a refresh. All you have to do to turn on ad blocking is you log into your My Rat Trap portal, and you click on this button. It'll be off when you first come in, and you'll change it to on, and you'll go down here to update. Give it about 2 to 3 minutes, and you should see what's going on. And that really is, it's that simple, and it's pretty much effective with what's going on. Not pretty much, it is effective, because here's when I first brought up USA Today and MSN, when it was trying to load all that ad content, and the screens will look some different. It's going to be harder for you to see things. But if you were to go to like Publishers Clearinghouse, which is what I was trying to show you on the demo, and it didn't want to show what I was wanting well, it did, but there was no audio, and I'm going to have to figure out what's causing that problem. You'll see the number start to bump up here. Now, it's not going to be an instantaneous bump, but it's going to be, it will occur over time. So it runs about 2 to 4 minutes behind, depending on what's happening. So it won't be immediate, but you will see a difference. Now, that's ad blocking, and really that's all it takes to get that up and running. There's not really any adjusting you can do, but so far from what I found, it is effective, and it does, especially if you're on a smaller bandwidth connection, say a 50 meg or something under 100 meg. Ads can make a noticeable dent, especially if they're video ads and playing things, and then your bandwidth already is pretty much tied up anyway with whatever you're doing. Now, I've had this up and running for a little over 2 weeks. This is the number of tags that it has blocked, and you can see now this has got a running total. And at least in this part of the world, and I'm in the United States, this is what I'm seeing. And if you were, say, on the West Coast or on the East Coast, you might see something different. But these are the stats that I've had so far in the 2 weeks it's been up and running. And here's the attacks that it stopped in just the past few minutes. And it gives you, as best it can tell, the country that the attack is coming from and what it's attacking. Now, some of these probably won't mean a lot, but the ones that I thought are the most interest is, Telnet, because that's something that if you've got a device that is running Telnet that's exposed to the outside world, you really shouldn't. Telnet is a unsecure protocol, and that's being very nice. So from a home perspective, if you're doing any sort of port forwarding into your router, and port forwarding is where you can use, say, port one port on the outside, like 8123 to pick a number, and then translate it to where it's 23 on the inside. Changing it to a different port number is something called security by obscurity, and they're really not protecting yourself, because anybody who can get anywhere near your connection is going to they're going to be able to see what's going on. So if you've got to have something that supports Telnet that only does that, then do some sort of VPN connection into your network, or do something like LogMeIn or a service like that where you're on a secure connection to get in, because you shouldn't be exposing anything really to the outside world. SSL, or not SSL, SSH is one thing. That's a little more secure, although depending on how it's been implemented, there are still some vulnerabilities there. So the best thing is not to do anything at all unless you really have to, and then I would have those on a segregated connection, just so that nothing can be attacked on your home network. But this is really, I've been impressed with it. You can get more details by going into attack events, and this goes into a little more detail, not much, but it's really probably all that you need to know. And if you really have got to have more details, then you're looking at putting some sort of Ethernet tap either probably ahead of the rat trap or behind it. Of course, if you put it behind it, then you're not going to see anything as to what it's blocking. So that's the only way I would even think of doing it. And that really is beyond probably what most everybody would do at this point. This is where you'll see the signature updates, and it has gone through one update. They're on a different time frame than what I'm sure. It's already showing here the 24th one. For me, it's still the 23rd when I'm doing this. Now, there are protection levels, and we'll show you can turn it off. Now, the only time I would ever turn off Rat Trap is if you think it's causing a problem. And then just very briefly, just to verify that it's not the problem. I don't think it would be, but especially if you're doing some sort of port forwarding or you're running some sort of non-VPN traffic and you think that the Rat Trap is stopping something that shouldn't, this is one way to temporarily take it out of service to where you're not having to unhook it and rehook it. You can just simply turn it off. Now, keep in mind when you do that, and then you'll click down here on the bottom, update, you're going to have to give it a few minutes to make those changes. Now, the default modes are where I'm running it right now, and that's probably where I'll keep it for a little while. There are other modes, high and then extreme. Now, we'll go here to the question mark, and this will give you a little more detail as to the different modes. Default is this is where Rat Trap suggests that you do it. Now, if you really are wanting to make sure that nothing else comes in, this is going to take it up to the next level, that it will, in addition to the Rat Trap attack threat intelligence, it's also going to block new incoming connections. Now, that might step in on some valid traffic. It might not, but if you're really concerned, and this would be, well, if you work for a company that is, you're either working for a government agency or you're working for a company that has a high level of security, going to a high protection level is probably not worth looking at, but that's going to require some testing, and just be prepared. You may have some little quirks show up from time to time. I'm not saying you will, but you have to be prepared because you're taking this to another level beyond the norm for Rat Trap. Now, extreme, I wouldn't turn this on unless you've talked with Rat Trap support, because if you're doing something where you need a much higher level of protection, or you're just wanting to get under the hood. So, really this is, I've been impressed with it in the short time that I've been using it. It's been a little over 2 weeks now, and I'm already sitting behind. I've got one firewall in the mix, and I haven't put the second one in yet, because you've seen one of the other videos that I've done, and of the 3 dumb routers. And that's sitting over on another internet connection I've got, and that one I'm still kind of kicking the tires on, and I'll probably, maybe as soon as this weekend, do some more videos on it just to kind of get you up to speed. But as you can see, you can, if you really want to make sure that you're blocking things, you can force block using the blacklist manager. And I'm doing some more digging in it when I've run into something that there's got to be a better way to do it. I'm going to have to reach out to Rat Trap support, because it may be something that either is not in the product yet, or I may not be doing right. If you've got something that Rat Trap is intermittently or constantly false flagging to saying that this is a problem, you can always allow a domain to come in with the whitelist manager. But be very careful when you do something like that, because you're effectively shutting down the intelligence of the Rat Trap for that one domain. Again, I would only do this after talking with the folks at Rat Trap support, because there may be another way that you can do this. But really, this is a very clean interface. Couldn't expect much better than what you've got. I mean, for the price of the device, for what it does, I mean, this really is something that should be in front of a lot of home networks. This is really, it simply does what it says it does. And there's other products out there, and I've been looking at some of those, but this is the only one I found that sits in line between your internet provider's device and either the only firewall you've got or your exterior firewall. Because having a defense in depth situation, sorry Cisco, I'm going to steal that one from you, the more layers you have between you and the outside world lessens the chance of your having a problem, or at least minimizing the ability to get in, because the Rat Trap is a great first line of defense. You'll see some other reviews out there. It simply does what it says it does. I've yet to find it false flagging for me. Granted, I've only been running it for a couple of weeks, but I mean, this is something that I can see staying in line for quite a while. And now they do disclose on the website, to their credit, that they max out at about, I think it's 250 to 300 meg internet circuit. So if you have one that's fast enough, like, well, I've got Google Fiber, I would lose some bandwidth. And I'm looking forward to when they release a device that will operate at that level, because some people will have more than a 300 meg connection, and there are ways that you can handle that. I've got a couple more videos planned on this one, so this is not going to be the last thing you hear on Rat Trap. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to get on a screen sharing service with you and walk you through some things. I'm not getting paid by Rat Trap to do this. I believe that strongly in the product, that it's something that everybody needs to know about. And if I can help you get past, any concerns you've got, because just because it's a little box doesn't mean it's not doing a lot inside, and it really is. So this is, I'm impressed, and I don't impress easily. So this is something that really, if you haven't gotten it, please go ahead and reach out and get one purchased. You won't be sorry. It's get a year's service that comes with it, and then it's either $10 a month, or I think they said it was $90 or $99 a year, which essentially you get a free month, because you would pay a year in advance. At least you would have the option to. So I've got an affiliate link in the description for this video. If you buy through that, really appreciate it. But if you're not ready to, I understand that. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, that will help with the costs of what I've been getting to do these videos, because not all companies are sending me things, and I do disclose when they do, and Rat Trap did, but there was no strings attached, and I've been very pleased with the product. So it pretty much sold itself to me once I got one up and running. are other things that I'm looking to do. Like I said, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'll have some mention of a book or mention of Rat Trap in the book. This is very close to the final cover that will be out there. I hope to have this out by the 1st of July. I'm going through the proofing of it now. Gotten a few things cleaned up. It will be available on both Kindle as well as paperback. It will be up on Amazon. Well, the Kindle one's already up, and the paperback ones I'm having to do some additional work on. But this is another way where you'll get all the things I've done in these videos, and then videos that are like this one right now won't be in. Actually, okay, here. I have to point in reverse. It won't be in this book, but it's on volume 2 that I'm already working on. So this is something that, I've gone on long enough. It's well worth the look at. If you've got any questions, please reach out to me, because I want you to be comfortable with doing it. Even if you don't use my affiliate link, I still want you to be comfortable with it, because there's other features we'll be covering in future videos, and I'll be reaching out to Rat Trap support with some questions I've got, and we'll be covering those because I want you to hear directly from somebody who's using it. So thank you for your time. And also, we're approaching 500 subscribers to my YouTube channel. Thank you to everyone who subscribed. Southern Dad, some of the others, several just rolled through today. Don't have their names yet, or their usernames, but thank you for everyone it does, because if I can help you avoid some problems, then at the end of the day, my job is done. If you have anything you'd like to see me do a video on, please let me know. Be happy to put that on my list. I've got several things I'm looking at. You already see me do the initial video on the 3-dumb router solution, and it's very interesting. I've been learning some things as we go along, and I'm looking for the 3rd router in the mix right now to see how I'm going to move forward with that one. But it's all a process, and as we work with different kinds of home automation and things to protect your home automation, that's what I'm here to help you go through the process, and we'll learn together. If I don't know, we'll figure it out, and then we'll help others in the process. So, gone on long enough. Thank you for your time, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Okay.